Now guys, when we teach grafting, Tim and I teach the ABCs of Japanese maple propagation. We recently did a full podcast. You can listen to us in long form, break this down. It's gonna be on the audio format, but we're adding some visuals here in this video today. Now there's gonna be 3 videos with this. We're gonna break this down by the A, the B, and the C. Today's the A section.
Yeah, and so we've got advanced planning. That's what A is. It's one of the most important things when it comes to grafting. Before we go any further though, smash that like button, share this video with your gardening friends, and make sure you subscribe to the MrMaple Show on YouTube. We'd really appreciate it. Now, today's video on advanced planning, this is one of the most important steps. If you don't do this step right, your grafts won't take. So really pay attention to this. Everyone always focuses on the next one, the blades in motion, sometimes called the blades of glory. But advanced planning is one of the most important steps because if you do this one right, you're gonna have further success.
So guys, there's a few key components here in this section. This is the advanced planning. This is the A section there on the ABCs of Japanese maple propagation. Today we're going to be going over some tips to give you the best results for grafting, from timing to healthy rootstock, to how long the tree should be grown in the container, to letting your rootstocks dry out, to scion wood selection. These are the things that fall into advanced planning for grafting. I hope you like today's video. I think these will be very informative, whether you're going to get deep into grafting or at a hobbyist level. We hope this gives you a greater success rate.
So timing is one of the most important things when you're grafting your Japanese maples. The reason that's important is you want to make sure that these trees are actively in a growing stage. That way these trees will be actively healing. And if they're actively healing, you're actively getting a very good success on your grafting. Now, we're here in early February, and the way we can activate these trees is by placing them on a heating mat. So we're going to place these in a heating mat here in a minute, and what it'll do is it'll activate these roots, start drying them out, and get these plants in that growing stage. That's exactly what we want for good success. Now here at MrMaple, we're doing winter grafting, and everything we'll be talking about today is primarily based on this winter grafting mode. There'll be some key indicators we'll be looking for in the next few weeks to see if these trees are in that active stage, and if we get it at the right time, and timing is critical, we're going to have good success. So now we're going to take these trees and go put them on that heating mat. So here you can see we've got our heating mat here. We've got our kin bar heating system right here. And what this is doing is this is gauging the temperature of these pots, heating these roots. We want to keep it about that 55 to 60 degrees on the roots, and it'll keep these roots actively growing. And we'll come back and check these in a couple weeks.
It's essential to have very healthy rootstock. You want to be grafting to, very superior healthy trees. By grafting to weaker trees, we're only creating a weaker growing graft. So you want root systems that are well developed in the pot. You want trees that have been in the container for at least 2 years. So they have a good healthy root system and they filled out the entire container. Now oftentimes what we graft to are in these small band pots like this. We like to leave a tree in this size container for at least 2 years so it develops a full root system in there. And you want a good healthy rootstock. Like these are very robust and healthy looking. We've actually cut them back once, and we'll come back and cut this again when we're grafting to it. But the key is that we're not grafting to disease or just kind of wimpy rootstock. We want stuff that's very robust and got good growth to it. Now, Tim put these on heat. They've activated just a little bit. We're at the earliest stages of some white rooting. There's not a ton going on here yet. But what we're looking for are white microfibrous roots going on in here. And as these trees start to get more white rooting, just a little bit started right here, they're getting to that active stage where they heal very, very quickly. Now, a common mistake during this stage is overwatering. One of the benefits of the bottom heat is that it's going to dry these trees out a little bit. You want to water before you bring them to this stage, but you want your trees steadily drying out right now. That's going to decrease the sap so you don't have a lot of bleed out on your scion. It's also going to keep them from leafing out even quicker. So you don't want to be watering very heavy because that'll create a longer healing period. The little bit drier will actually give you a much easier place to work for that graft union, and it's going to make things a lot easier, and it's just going to give you a better overall take if they're not super wet.
So when you're grafting, it's extremely important to have healthy scions. And that sounds extremely simple, but what that means is that you really need healthy plants that you're collecting scions from. And the reason I say this is because often nurserymen will say, this plant's about to die, I want to graft it and propagate it. And while you may be able to increase vigor, sometimes what happens is the plant has a viral buildup in the tissue that you're then propagating as well. So you want to make sure that you have healthy plants that you're propagating from. That sounds extremely simple, but I've seen it done time and time again when people propagate from unhealthy plants and create more unhealthy plants. Now, one thing to keep in mind too is that trees outside may face extreme weather. So if you have plants that are outside, you may have saw some fresh new growth coming on late in the summer and get excited about your scion source, only to come out there and look at the new growth and then realize you had some late frosts that then caused damage on that new growth, and you may not have the best scions that you thought that you had. One thing to keep in mind is that plants that are, say, in a cold frame or something like that, will often have the very best scion sources. The other thing that's great about some of those plants inside is that they're young plants. Young plants produce the most fresh new growth. Older plants often produce more and more twiggier growth unless they're constantly pruned. So you can always prune your plants to give you healthy scions, but you also can use young plants. And that's one of the things here about MrMaple.com. We actually ship over 1,000 different varieties of Japanese maples in 1 gallons. And often those 1 gallons have a lot of fresh new growth that would be perfect and ideal for your grafting.
Hey guys, that concludes the A's of the ABCs of Japanese maple grafting. Now stick around, you're going to want to come back for B. That's going to be part 2 to the series, and that's going to be the blades in motion or blades in glory section, where we show you how to make some detailed cuts. If you want a deeper dive also, definitely check out our full podcast on how to graft.
Now, we really hope that you've enjoyed this video on advanced planning when it comes to grafting. This is one of the most critical steps when it comes to grafting. Again, a lot of people focus on B, but you got to have A before you have B, or you're not going to have any success.
Yeah, I often let people know when you go to some of the major production nurseries, that B stage is some of the more unskilled, lesser paid labor at the nursery, and that A and that C, those are the guys making the big bucks. Those are the guys with degrees in horticulture that know exactly how to get everything perfect. So if you can master your A and your C, the other parts are easy.
Take care.
God bless.
And have a good day.